Welcome to Ramstein-Miesenbach Germany, right outside of Ramstein Air Base, where I'm following one of the good guys, David Sweeney, co-founder of Used Car Guys, as he takes me to his service center right across the street from his Ramstein showroom location. This is where we'll talk to a master mechanic about the 5 most common ways to fail a German car inspection.
Well, hi everybody, my name is Edward Armstrong. I am a master mechanic, certified here in Germany, certified mechanic in the United States. And my position here is basically, I manage everything that has to do with after sales. Once my buddies from sales sold the car, that's when I step in and we make sure that everything else gets taken care of. Vehicles with issues, making sure that the customer has a vehicle while we're working on their cars.
What does it take to be a master mechanic?
In my case, a lot of experience. The fact that I speak both languages, because I'm bilingual, helped me out. I studied for myself with my experience for about a year. Then I went to the German Handwerkskammer is what it's called, and I had to do a written and a practical test. But once I passed those exams, I was actually able to work for the Used Car Guys as a master mechanic in the service center.
Okay, what's up with these 2 Jeeps over here?
Well, since I'm a Jeep fan, and that's why these 2 are sitting the way that they're sitting. The right one is mine, which I actually got through German TÜV. It took me a year and a half. It is a US spec, but once I was done with it, I got it through German TÜV. The one on the left is a used Jeep that we bought, that we're of course going to resell. But there's a few modifications on it, which me as a Jeep fan I love, but the German TÜV doesn't like them too much. Let's start with the tires, because there's a lot of details about tires. Tires in a lot of cases are underestimated, especially here in Europe, because there's so many laws in regards to the tires. One example is, if you look at the tires here, they're fully open. In the States, that's fine with that bumper there. However, when you bring a vehicle to Europe, or specifically Germany, you have to make sure that those front tires are covered by the front bumper. Okay. In comparison to that, if you take a look at mine there, the front tires are fully covered. So we're talking about this part here. Okay. This area here. So on this one, in order for it to stay legal, this bumper has to cover the tire to at least 50%. Especially on these off-road vehicles, always make sure that the front tires are covered by that bumper. That's the easiest way to put it. And another thing about tires, they're not allowed to stick out. So if you're looking at this Wrangler, you look alongside of the vehicle, you see that those tires are sticking out a bit. That can be a fail, even just that little bit. Past this point right here, the edge of this flare, I've seen inspectors literally take a ruler, go down the flare, and then you see that it's actually sticking out a bit. On this one, as long as this area here is covered, that's fine. But rear bumpers have never really been an issue. It's always the front bumpers, because you have the steering up there, and then once you start driving, you'll also have all the water squirting to the front of the vehicle. In German terms, it's also a safety issue because it's a spinning part, and if a body part gets into there, it's a safety issue. Just to save some headache if your car goes to inspection, there's a couple of things that you can check yourself. I have 3 examples here. I mean, if you look at this tire here, this is a perfect summer tire. You have a very nice tread depth right here, an even surface. The using surface here is very even. On the other side here, I've got 2 very extreme tires, but they give you a good idea what your tire will look like when your vehicle needs an alignment. If the steering and the suspension is misaligned, then you'll have a picture like this, where the tire is worn uneven. In some cases, you'll see like here, the edge is worn, is nearly bald, but the left-hand side of the tire still has some tread. What inspection does is they always use the lowest tread profile on the tire to make up what the tread depth is. This here is pretty much the lowest of the tire. So they're not going to measure the best tread, which in this case on the left-hand side is 3 millimeters. They're going to measure here where we're looking at maybe 1 millimeter. So in these cases, this car would need an alignment. The same with this one. If your tires look like this, a very even surface, your alignment is good. In regards to tread depth and to limits, If it's a winter tire, the minimum recommendation when you should change your tires is 1.6 millimeters. Summer tires, we're looking at 3 millimeters. Daytime running lights, headlights, blinkers, tail lights, if they have any kind of aftermarket light bulbs that are LED, they are not allowed. They have to be aligned. Newer cars nowadays, they have the automatic alignment and the headlight adjustment. You don't have to adjust those. Okay. Now on this Wrangler, for example, there is a headlight adjustment, a manual one where you can adjust them, but that can be measured and then you just adjust them and then they're good to go.
Can I just modify my vehicle after passing inspection?
That's a negative. Of course you can do that. Yeah. However, if you get pulled over, the police can put your vehicle in a non-op status, which means you are not driving that vehicle until those changes have been put back to the original state. We were all young. Yeah. I've done it back when I was a teenager, but if you want to stay legal, make sure that the parts on your car are legal. In the US, we're all allowed to use the LED light bulbs. Here in Germany, that is a failed inspection. All the headlights have to have the original light bulbs in there. You'll notice my Wrangler has LED headlights in it. It's an older vehicle. However, he's coming with the certification. So if you spend the extra money, you get headlights with certification, you can put them on your vehicle. You get a document that says that they're allowed to be put on this vehicle with a certain lumen of light, and then you just carry that paper with you at all times and you're good to go. Exhaust, the law here says the exhaust is not allowed to be louder than 95 decibels. Any exhaust louder than that can get you fined, can get the vehicle put in op, even if the vehicle was delivered to you like that. So if you go to a buddy and you buy a Mustang with a sports exhaust and the police stops you and you tell the German police, oh, I bought it like that. No, that's not gonna fly, buddy, because they're gonna fine you, they're gonna re-inspect the vehicle, and unless you put it back in OE state, it's gonna stay where it's at. Yeah. We've had these situations too often. Because we had a customer, he bought a Shelby from us, and he went to the inspection, he failed inspection. Then I made sure that we got the documentation, he went back to inspection, and everything was fine. Okay. At the end of the day, a lot of things here in Germany, as long as you have documentation that is legal, you're good to go. In his case, I actually got in contact with the German Ford dealership that just confirmed that there was a certificate number on the exhaust that they got the documentation for, and then we just showed that to inspection. They were good with it. I've had many of those lifted trucks. Yeah. And that's, I don't know how many. And out of all of those in the last 7 years, I had one customer that actually knew what he was doing when he lifted his truck. You can lift your truck as long as once you're done with it, it's still safe. I have seen lifted trucks with tension on the brake hoses, which means you go off-roading, go through a ditch or up a hill or whatever the case, rock crawling, and you snap your brake hose. Well, you can imagine going off-roading and your brakes fail. No. Those are the little safety things so if you want to get your truck lifted, have it done professionally, and if it's done professionally, it'll pass inspection. Yeah, right? Yeah. That would pass because we already checked underneath. All the brake hoses are fine. There's no tension on the brake hoses. Okay. There's no rubbing parts, and there's no knocking parts. Okay. Those are the things to look out for. Tinted windows. It used to be allowed here. They stopped allowing the windows to be tinted in the front. Zero, unless it's factory. The back can be tinted all the way up to the B pillar, so the front doors cannot be tinted. So in this case, I would say you can tint to right about here, unless it's factory.
Hey, I'm PCS into Germany soon. What should I do with my heavily modified vehicle?
For someone that's coming to Europe and has a heavily modified vehicle, my suggestion, save yourself the headache. Use the time that you will spend here in Germany trying to get your car up to the German standards with traveling. Come over here to Germany, buy something that's compatible to what you have in the States. Take some of the funds that you get for the vehicle that you sold, buy something here, and use your time a little bit more productive rather than having to deal with these German laws. That can be more than a headache. It is time consuming. And we all know, in the military, we have other headaches and things to worry about technical stuff just to take you from work and home and travel a bit in Europe. So that would be my recommendation.
And where would you recommend that they go buy a vehicle, huh?
Well, of course, you have to go to the used car guys.
Appreciate you.
Anytime. Take care. Be safe.